Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Should you buy or rent? That's a question many people are asking when they move to the Red River Valley. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Andrea is off. The housing market in our area has stayed relatively stable over the last several years, that according to local realtors. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker talks with people who aren't too sure.
If you're looking to buy a house in the FM, Grand Forks, and surrounding areas, you're in luck.
Over the last 6 weeks, we've seen inventory start to increase, especially in that price point of $300,000 and up.
But if you're looking to sell one,
with an increase in inventory, that obviously means that houses are staying on the market a little bit longer.
Longer than what it used to be, Realtor Ben Schroeder says.
We've had a pretty dynamite housing market, seller's market for this would be our third year, and eventually it has to get realistic.
But getting realistic for some people means not buying a house just yet. This is something Shasta Reindl, manager at Urban Plains Community Apartments, sees in her office quite a lot.
Being somewhere for a couple of years, then they can move. It's more convenient for them to flexibility to move. They don't have to be in a 30-year loan or whatnot.
Reindl says many people who choose to live in an apartment like this say not having to worry about the loads of expenses that come with the house also drives their decision to hold off on buying. Construction crews are hard at work building around 200 more apartments. All this growth in an area that's seeing many projects go up, including Sanford Health's new hospital.
We have a really big demand. It's a really good location to be right in the middle of everything. This is where everybody wants to be.
Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
We posted links to several real estate sites that can help you find your next home. Go to valleynewslive.com and click on the hot button for those. A 2-year-old who was wandering by himself this morning in Moorhead is home, safe tonight. The toddler was found in just a diaper and a t-shirt. City workers spotted him along 11th Street North near Crystal Sugar and called police. It took about an hour to find the person who was supposed to be watching the toddler. Police say that person fell asleep.
This is just a reminder to all of us that these little children that wake up sometimes ahead of the people that are supposed to be watching them, or maybe if they're busy cooking or turn their back, they can find a door and they can get out. It's very scary. And
a report has been filed with social services. They will be following up the matter. The social neighborhood network site Nextdoor has a new feature that makes it easier to report problems to authorities. A person who creates a post in a crime and safety category on the site is able to share that with the Fargo Police Department. It allows the post to be seen with police, so it's easier for them to understand the problem. Police encourage people to connect with that site, but also want to remind people you can call them directly for an urgent emergency.
Unfortunately, our social media sites are not monitored 24/7, so if you would like police immediate police response, such as a call for service for us to come out and check on something, we really need people to call our dispatch center so we can get an officer sent out there.
Now, coming up tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10, we're going to ask police and people why it's easier to report problems online rather than picking up the phone and dialing 911. This weekend's tornado that touched down in Norman County, Minnesota, has been identified now as a level EF2. Gary, Minnesota was one of the towns damaged. The National Weather Service says winds up to 115 miles per hour whipped through there. Roofs were blown off homes, several trees were knocked over. And the Weather Service has also confirmed that a tornado hit Hillsboro. That one was an EF3 with winds up to 140 miles per hour. People in the valley continue to report hail damage from this weekend's storms, and State Farm insurance representatives are also assessing damage to vehicles. They're letting us know that they're working on setting up an auto drive-in facility in Fargo. Customers can report a claim by contacting their State Farm agent. Our quiet weather continues, which is good considering there is possible trouble this weekend. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's find out what's going on tonight. Hutch?
Now, you got to get out and enjoy the refreshing dry air across the valley. Many of us still enjoying slightly above average temperatures and mainly clear skies. A few showers in South Dakota and a few sprinkles out in western North Dakota this evening. For us, crystal clear skies, winds under 10 miles per hour and 70s for the remainder of our evening. Overnight, it's going to be another crisp night where you can open those windows and enjoy that fresh air. Coming up, I'll tell you about the return of summer-like temperatures and, of course, storms.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Hutch.
Yep.
Remember, you can stay up to date on the weather conditions where you are anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow Radar Live. Search VNL Weather. That's in the App Store. There's a big mess at the Coliseum in North Fargo. At one time, water was rushing out the front door, and more than 1.5 feet of water was sitting on the rink area. The water was so deep at one point that crews couldn't get the doors open to try and pinpoint the problem. Officials say a broken pipe is likely the cause. Water was spread throughout the entire building. Cleanup is underway. A Fargo Park District spokesperson says they usually start putting ice in around mid-October in order for rinks to be open to the public November 1st. And they're hoping this damage won't delay that process. Traffic was slowed early this afternoon. It followed a multi-vehicle crash on University Drive. It happened around 1 p.m. Police say 3 vehicles came to a stop at the stoplight. The driver of a 4th car said she was reaching for an item that fell on the floor of her car and then took her eyes off the road. Well, that led to a chain reaction.
It's very important to make sure that while you're driving, you remove all distractions from your vehicle. Put the phone away, set your purse in an area where it's going to be secured, so that way while you're driving you can keep your eyes on the road and pay attention.
The driver of the 4th car was cited for failing to have the vehicle under control. There will be more than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton on the ballot this November. Voters heading to the polls in 9 states, including North Dakota, will also be deciding on medical marijuana. Collectively, these ballot measures mean more voters will be weighing in on cannabis issues than in any other year in American history. Samantha Jo Roth takes a closer look at the big questions some voters will be facing this fall.
At the Tacoma Wellness Center, there's a certain smell in the air.
There are now 4,000 registered patients in the program. We serve 1,000 of them. We see about 100 people a day.
Rabbi Jeffrey Kahn opened this marijuana dispensary in Washington, D.C. 3 years ago.
It has a THC content of 24% and CBD of 22%.
His perspective on pot is a personal one after watching his father-in-law battle multiple sclerosis.
Along the way, a doctor said, try marijuana. He did, and it made a huge difference.
This November, he hopes to see more states legalizing medical and recreational marijuana.
It's just unbelievable that in the 21st century, you could be penalized for living in the wrong zip code.
Voters in 5 states, California, Nevada, Arizona, Massachusetts, and Maine will be deciding whether to legalize marijuana for recreational use. And voters in Montana, North Dakota, Arkansas, and Florida will consider legalizing medical cannabis. If the measures pass, they will join the 29 states in Washington, D.C. that already have laws on the books allowing for some form of legal pot.
At the end of the day, these initiatives pass because of who produces a better campaign, who works harder, who has a better, more effective message.
John Hudak with the Brookings Institution says a handful of states have a real shot at legalizing recreational marijuana.
States like Nevada, Massachusetts, California, these are states that have the right demographics to pass an initiative like this.
Jeffrey Zinmeister with Smart Approaches to Marijuana, a group in opposition to recreational legalization efforts, says polling in states like Arizona and Massachusetts does not look good.
There was a majority of voters saying that they would vote no. I mean, significant margins, and in this close to Election Day really shows that those states are going to have an uphill battle.
Polling in Florida, Montana, and Arkansas shows over 60% of voters support medical marijuana. North Dakota is the only state where passage is looking questionable, with polls showing a narrow 47% in favor. Researchers at the University of North Dakota have landed a $1 million grant that could one day have a major impact on global warming and the state's energy industry. They're collaborating with the Chinese on creating clean-burning coal-fired power plants that don't emit carbon dioxide, the gas blamed for creating global warming. UND researchers are now working on technology that will separate pure oxygen from the incoming air into power plants. It's used to burn the coal, which then produces an exhaust of almost pure CO2 that can be captured. Now, according to the situation with regard to that, UND has received the 4-year grant from the National Science Foundations, and China and the United States will be working together. Much of the money will be used to pay graduate students and others who are conducting this particular research. A local Fargo brewery is expanding south. Later on Valley News Live at 6, when you'll be able to wet your whistle at the Ale House.
And finally, a dry day across the valley with comfortable temperatures. Cool, in fact, in northern Minnesota, but the heat is not far away. Your hour-by-hour forecast tells you when it returns next.
You're watching Valley News Live on TV, online, and on the go. Always on, wherever you are, whenever you need to know. Valley News Live.